Hello, I'm Faye Whetstone, one of the senior pastors here at Victory Christian Fellowship in Newcastle, Delaware. My husband, Dr. Gary Whetstone, and I have pastored the same church for over 30 years. In the 30 years that we've pastored, there are very few situations that have captured my heart and captured my personal finances like the one that I'm about to tell you. This is a situation that is critical. It's happening in Nigeria, and it's happening in the lives of children. And that makes a big difference. So I hope it's going to capture your heart today, and I hope it's going to capture your finances so that you will make a difference and save the lives of children and give them the opportunity to become the children of destiny as adults one day. Right now, they're still children. Let me begin with a little bit of background. My husband and I have traveled since 1984. He's traveled over 105 nations. I've traveled a lot less. And our daughter, Laurie, married a young man in 2002 from Benin City, Nigeria. Their life is there. And our son-in-law, Bishop Febi Dahosa, oversees a very large organization called Church of God Mission, which has a fully accredited university with a law school. It has churches, it has hospitals, it has early and secondary educations, along with a multitude of outreaches in their city and around their nation. They have an established infrastructure and an organization with willing people who are doing all they can to assist in the plight of internally displaced persons at one particular camp near their home. I am very confident of the oversight of the finances to go directly to the needs of these children and widows. In addition, my own daughter is the one who's overseeing the distribution from the states to bring help to these children. Let me begin to tell you the story. Boko Haram is an Islamic terrorist group with known ties to ISIS. They have penetrated the northeastern section of Nigeria, which is located in West Africa. For the past several years, they have gone city to city, village to village, and home to home to brutally assault and either kill or kidnap men, women, and children for their cause and for their perverted pleasures. The men are mostly killed, and their wives are either killed or taken as sex slaves for the soldiers of Boko Haram. The children scatter and run into the bush, and they survive the best they can. Their homes have been burned, their parents killed, many times in front of them, and they're traumatized. Depending upon their age, many of those children are forced to become child soldiers or sex slaves, also known as brides for the Boko Haram group. Many children die of starvation, unable to fend for themselves. Maybe you've heard of the Chibok girls, or the Bring Back Our Girls movement, that in April of 2014, 276 girls were kidnapped from a school. Most of them are still missing today. As of September 2016, there are 3.2 million displaced persons in Nigeria, and they are displaced within their own country. There are currently several camps that house these displaced persons around the country, which are run by the government. They're very poorly run because dealing with 3.2 million displaced persons is very, very difficult. A lot of very horrific things are happening in these camps. But I know of this one camp, and because this is the camp my daughter became involved with. In February of 2014, Laurie became aware of a camp that was privately run just 20 minutes from her own home. This camp had already functioned for many years as an orphanage with about 200 children until November of 2013, when Pastor Solomon Fulurusholo of the International Christian Center Orphanage was beginning to get an influx of children of whom his churches in the north had begun to find and began to transport these children to this orphanage. He went from 200 children to 1,700 children overnight. There were, of last month, close to 2,800 boys, girls, and widows at this newly formed private IDP camp. My daughter and the organizations that she's working with have been instrumental in providing security and basic needs for these children since that time. But I am talking about basic needs here: clothing, medical help, and of course food and shelter, flip-flops. Shelter is beginning, but is by no means enough. The children sleep in cement buildings with dirt floors or sleep in a tent on a plastic mat. The feeding of this many people gives new meaning to the term, Lord, give us this day our daily bread. I personally visited the camp on 2 separate occasions, one in October of 2015 and the second in May of 2016. I've spent days at the camp. I've walked amongst the children. I've seen the sanitation conditions. I've worked with Pastor Solomon. I've prayed for these children. I've been raising funds myself for this need, and I'm asking you to get behind this wonderful opportunity to make a difference in children's lives. We have here a ministry called Jesus Experience that you can make a donation to for the IDP camp. Anything and everything will make a difference. I hope that you will do something to help these children, to make a difference in the lives of children who have literally nothing. You can make a difference. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Clarice, and I'd like to tell you my story. On July 19, 1990, I woke up just like any other morning. At the time, I had 2 sons. One had just turned 1 that day. That was his birthday. And the other one was 5. Within a few hours of awakening that morning, we heard gunshots all around the neighborhood. And before long, we heard a knock on our door, and we were ordered to come out. We left our home with just our clothes that were on our backs. I managed to grab a diaper bag for my younger son, for the baby. And before we knew it, we were ordered to leave and follow the warring faction to an unknown destination. We walked for about 8 hours. The kids became very tired, hungry, thirsty, no food and no water. They took us to a university campus, and we became displaced. At the time, people were being slaughtered right before our eyes. Women and children were dying. What seemed like it was going to be just a day turned into weeks and months and a year. By this time, my kids became very ill. There was a setup of just a makeshift environment that was set up to treat the children that had suffered severe malnutrition. And right away, my kids started to receive treatment, all the medical care that they needed. But a few days later, my oldest son lost his battle to severe malnutrition. At this time, the word was out. People all over the world knew about our situation in Liberia. And all of the charity organizations around the world have started pouring in to help us in our crisis. Because of the generosity of these people, I'm sitting here today. I am the voice that have the opportunity to speak for them today when they cannot even speak for themselves. Because I experience it and I know exactly what they're going through and what they feel. So join us today and support the You Touch My Life ministry as we help these young children. Thank you.